Hello, Internet. Welcome to Comic Book Talks for Saga issue 36. Yeah, still the best comic that I'm reading for like 36 issues going, and it looks like it's not going to stop because, well, we'll get there. So, yeah. We start off where Marco uses the crash film to teleport into the prison slash education center that Hazel and Clara. I'm gonna keep saying the grandma's name so I don't forget it. And well, I forgot the aunt lady and the teacher and all of them are at. And then we start off with some narration from Hazel, and she's like, "Yeah, every school's dangerous. Parents send their kids to school thinking nothing bad's gonna happen." But then she's like, "The first time I had my fire alarm, fire drill." Well, I think she says that later, but yeah, there's just a bunch of crap about worst case scenarios when you have like the most youngest and vulnerable people all in one building. Anything could happen, it could be a disaster. So Margaret teleports in, and he's met with the transgender lady with a shiv to his face, and she's all like, "And where did you come from?" And then he's all like, "I'm looking for." And then she's like smelling him, and she's like, "You smell just like Hazel." And he's like, "You know my daughter." And then and then the teacher is trying to, what's that word called? Smuggle? Yeah, smuggle Hazel out in the box that she was talking about in the plan in the last issue. Things don't go well. It basically goes terribly wrong because the warden lifted their like danger level up to like code gray or whatever. So, or up a notch. So now the private that would have just let her pass through is like checking everything. But then, the teacher's like trying to talk her way out of it. And then it doesn't go well. And then she's like, "I'm sorry, I check your box." And then she's like, "Oh, well, let me just go back and get my cell phone and some other stuff. And then I'll be right." And then the private's like, "Nope, drop it." Pulls a gun. It's like, "Yep, this escalated quickly." And then while that's happening, Clara and I can't remember, Lexus. Yeah, Lexus are watching. That's the lady. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to do something here because the teacher's about to blow it, and we're all gonna be screwed." And then back to the planet with the Goose and Will standoff. So we have a scene with the reporters and then the photographer. Man, okay, one of them's Upshur. The other one's name's Hoff, I think. So Hoff and Upshur. I don't remember which is which, but you got the photographer one who is trying to. There's some sort of like shark-like creature and like really sharp jaws, and he's using the teeth to cut through his restraints and then get himself free. And then the writer dude who's clearly like the pessimist of the two, and he's always just like, "Dude, this is never gonna work out. We should just give up." Blah blah blah. Then the photographer's always like, "Dude, you gotta believe." And so he's all trying to free himself, and then the writer one's all like, "But even if you free yourself and get us out of here, that's not gonna stop the crazy psycho person that's on drugs, that's hallucinating, that captured us in the first place, from getting back to us and killing us." And then the photographer guy is just like, "Well, I plan to go out shooting." And then we get the scene. Man, there's so many good scenes in this one. Like, okay, so we get the scene with the confrontation between the Will and Goose, and it seems like it's not going to go that bad because it's like they're just talking it out, man. They're just talking it out. But then uh, yeah, Will's just like, "Yeah, this doesn't concern you." And then Goose is like, "He hasn't hurt you yet, has he, Squire?" And Squire's like, "No, not yet." And then yeah, when Will says it doesn't concern you, he's like, "This doesn't concern you, Tiny." And then Goose is like, "Tiny? Mr. Goose is not so sure who you think you are, but Goose swears on the buried treasure of the house of Goose that..." And then before he can finish the sentence, Sweet Boy shoots the poison darts out of his nose, and they shrink and turn Friendo unconscious. And then that's when all hell breaks loose, because Goose is all like, "Friendo," and then like Will's just like still like having his whole like hallucination situation with the stalk. And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, your piece is just unconscious." And then the stalk's all like, you should just lands these two wastes of blubber, and then Will's all, I got in a quarrel with these two creatures. Let's just leave. But then before that happens, Goose just like loses it, and he's just like hiss. There's like a hiss sound, and he's just like gets really mad, charges him with his axe, cuts off his fingers, and it's like, oh, Will is like a hand down. Well, not a hand down. I mean, kind of, sorta. He still's got the hand, but and a thumb, but like 4 fingers chopped, just gone. I was like, oh, that was great. I was like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. That was crazy. Because like before this happened, it's like they might just de-escalate this, and like nothing happens. But then that happened, and I was like, ooh, is he gonna die? Is he gonna kill him? and then yeah. But then it's funny because like all he does is like punch him in the head, and then like knocks Goose out. So it's like he's like, it's like you totally saw it on paper. Of like, dude, there's no way like Goose walks away from this. And then all it took was like one punch, and like the world like just knocked him unconscious. And then we have more narration from Hazel, and then like at the part of the beginning, she's all like, "Death is so predictable." Well, there's like an F-bomb there, but whatever. I'm not gonna repeat it. She's like, "Yeah, death is so predictable." Blah blah blah. And then after Goose gets knocked out, we get some more narration, and it's like, even if they've never seen it happen, most kids understand that all lives end, some sooner than others. And then we got the teacher who's about to have the box search that has Hazel in it. But before that happens, Lexus and Claire are like starting a fight to get the guard's attention. That happens. The guard turns around, and then the teacher knocks the guard out with her praying mantis tentacle legs. Well, they're not tentacle legs. They're just legs. Is she a praying mantis? They're like whatever. Her insectoid legs, because she has like 2, 4, 6 maybe. Oh, those. Well, she has 4, but it looks like she has 6 from that angle. Anyway, 4, yeah. 4 legs, 2 arms. Knocks out the guard. And the guard's knocked out. And then she's like, oh no, what have I done? And then Claire's like, she's not dead. But you'll be, unless we find the keys from the guard. And before she can finish it, Marco's there, and he's like, Mom, you have tattoos. And he's like, yeah. Just as surprised as I was when I was like, why is Claire getting all these tattoos? What's up with that? I hope there's like a reason for that too, because it's just like kind of weird. But I guess it kind of makes sense because she's like so warrior queen. So, but then she's like, Marco, and then Hazel jumps out of the box, and she's like, yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. I got too scared when I heard fighting again. And then she's like, oh, no more commotion. And there's like, she sees her dad, and there's a bunch of narration, and then he has Pongkonk, or was it Pongkonk? Yeah, Pongkonk, which was that was back when Hazel got abducted. She was getting abducted, but when her, Alana, Clara, and Friendo got abducted because they were in the ship when Dango was all like, I'm gonna take Princeling, and then stole their ship to... I'm trying to think. There was a reason that he was looking for them, but I don't remember now. But he basically found them, took their ship, and was going to turn them into the last revolution for whatever reason. that whole adventure on the ice planet, and that was like the one thing that like Hazel was like saying for like a long time was Pongkonk, because like that was like the toy that she had. We shouldn't have it anymore. And she's like, where's my Pongkonk? And she wouldn't stop crying about it. But then that was like a great scene when Marco shows up and he's got Pongkonk, and he's like, oh, he still has it. It's like, oh yeah. And there's some narration about how she said like, her dad told her that when he went to school for the first time on a school bus, he was crying because he thought he'd never see his family again. And then even though his parents were alive and well, at the end of the day, every day he was worried that when the bus showed up every morning that they wouldn't be. And then, despite his fears, he loved being a student because it taught him how much he loved being home with his family. And so there's this nice scene with Hazel and Marco after like years apart, finally coming back together. And then Marco's like, I don't even know. You know who I am? And then she like finishes the sentence of like, Daddy? And then bunch of hugging stuff. And we're back on planet wherever with Squire, the Will Goose, and the reporters. And then Goose is just like, yeah, just down and out, just like, gah, with like a blood splotch on his head. So it only took one punch, so it's like, yeah. And then you have Squire, who's like, I beg you, don't hurt him. And then on his monitor, he has a white flag for surrender. I thought that was great. He's like, okay, no more, no more. Just stop. Well, just stop. Please don't kill him. And then, yeah, you have, and then after that happens, basically Will is just like, he's about to off the Squire, but then he has a bunch of like hallucinations right here. So basically, he has on one side, he has uh, the Stalk, who's all like, all right, let's kill this. Let's kill Goose. We're going to wear his pelt as a codpiece. And then he like tells Squire that like a long time ago, I promised I was going to kill your dad, and then before that though, I was going to kill everything he ever loved first. And then before he can like start actually like choking him or whatever, there's another voice that says, "I'm impressed, Billy." And then you see the brand, so he's got like dueling morality here of like kill everybody, don't kill everybody. The brand and the Stalk. It's like, oh, this just got really good. And so it's like, yeah, and then like it's neat because like in the last issue or one of the last issues when they're talking about the drugs he was on, about like how bad the come down was, it's like you get to see it here when he's just like seeing his sister who's dead now. I was kind of like wondering though, like maybe is it like actually a hallucinogen, or does it like actually have this like thing that lets you see. I mean, obviously it's like just your brain projecting like your own emotions back to you through these dead people, but like is it always like dead people? Does it ever like do it just for living people? So I'm wondering if it's like always dead people, because it's like the brand and the Stalk here. But yeah, and like the brand is like basically the conscience on his shoulder, like, okay, don't do it because you're murdering defenseless preschoolers. You've come a long way. And then the cool part is like he calls her Sophie, which is what he named Slave Girl. So that's cool that you find out that's where he got that name from, was the brand. And then she's like, yeah, don't. It's the brand when we're off duty. And he's like, wait, you're dead, you're dead. But he didn't say you're dead. He's just like, you're. And then she's like, yeah, but so is the Stalk. And that doesn't stop her and adult brain from endlessly digging up her corpse. And then he's like, bring her back, Sophie. I need her. And then you have like this really cool panel where it's like a face that's half the Stalk, half the brand, and then it's the brand all like, yeah, but you never really loved her, like loved her though, did you? Or like, not the way you loved me. And then she's like, yeah, she's just another obsession, something to make you feel better, and I'm sorry I ever introduced you to. And then he's like, you didn't know what you're talking about. And then the brand projection's like, I'm your own brain, you effing dummy. So it's like, yeah, it's like that. I thought that was like cool, just like, that's like the effect that the drug has, is that it basically just projects deceased people that you're close to that influence you or try to get you to do stuff. And then it's like good things and bad things. And so you have like this part where it's like you have the Stalk for like the longest time was just influencing him like super badly, and then you have the brand who like recently died. Now it's like he's coming back. Because, like, yeah, man, because I thought it was just going to be, like, a full-on ascension to, like, the dark side with the Will, and he'd be, like, killing it. Like, I don't know, like, the new Prince Robot. Because Prince Robot, when he was, like, looking for Dango, man, he was on a warpath with just dead bodies everywhere. Or I think it's mostly dead Dango, too, just, like, yeah, he's like, I'm going to get justice for my son, and, like, yeah, Prince Robot killing everybody, or just a bunch of people. Dango for sure, dude, was, like, just, yeah, the things he did to people. The trail of bodies that those androids left behind. But yeah, here you have the Will. So he doesn't actually kill anybody in this issue. So it's like, oh man, I'm glad they spared Goose, because I was like, no, don't kill Goose. And I was like, no, there's no way he's gonna be able to fight off the Will. And you have this like cool little thing where it's like the drugs take over, and he's talking to himself through dead people, which was pretty cool. But yeah, and then he's like, after the whole like, I'm your own brain, you idiot part, it's he turns to the brand, he's like, I miss you, I miss everybody. And then the brand's all, sure, but offing some random kid isn't going to make it hurt less. And then he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And then the response is, go ask the one chick who calls you on your bullshit. So I'm hoping that in the next issue Gwendolyn comes back, because I think that's who that is, because more Gwendolyn and Sophie adventures with the will would be a great time, or like helping him not be an evil, crazy person would be great. But I guess we'll see because Saga's on break after this issue, so it'll be a couple months. Um, so yeah, the will goes away with Sweet Boy back to his ship, and you see the reporters, and they're like, "Yes, he's leaving." And then one of them's like, "Well, how do you know he's not going to come back and kill us when he sees that we're gone?" And then the other one's like, "Well, he's going pretty fast. I'm pretty sure he's not coming back." And then the writer one's like, "Yeah, but we're stranded on an island. Nobody knows we're here. How are we going to get?" And then the other one's like, "Dude, we're alive. That's all that matters." And they have this kiss, and it's like, "Oh." And then they're back on the prison facility, and Marco's cutting or about to teleport out with the crash helm, and he cuts, or he makes one of those teleportation portal things with that you can jump through. I don't know how it works. It's whatever. I don't know if they've ever explained it. So, or the crash helm, I guess. But it looks like he's swinging his sword, so it's like, whatever. Anyway, so Hazel goes back through, and then Marco's all like, "Yeah, I'm sorry my helm can only carry one of you, but after I get my mother out, I swear we'll do everything to." And then Claire interrupts him, and she's like, "Marco, I'm not going anywhere." And she's like, "I'm staying here. I'm staying behind. I have a community. I have purpose with these people." And then like while this is happening, and they're talking, well, then she's like, "Yeah, I'm proud of you. Blah blah blah. Good job with your family. Blah blah blah. Good job. Blah blah blah. I'm proud of you. Blah blah blah." That's happening, and they're having like this whole like thing. And then while this is happening, Petrichor, the transgender lady, is like, "Haha, well, if she doesn't want to take it out," and just like jumps through the portal. I thought that was great. I was like, "Oh, look, this got screwed." It's like, "Oh man, stuck on the," because like because like from the narration like a couple issues ago when Hazel was talking about narrate or like something about like Auntie Alexis or whatever. So I wasn't sure if that was like in the future or just in that span of time when they're in the prison. I didn't think she'd get stuck behind. She did. I was like, "Oh, that was great." And yeah, it's gonna be like even more interesting with Petrichor anyway, because like her character. So I was like that. I thought that was a nice match. And then like you see that in the next part when she jumps onto the ship, and then you have Alana and Prince Robot, and then Alana's like fixing this hole in the wall, and then like Prince Robot's like talking down to her, like, "Faster, woman." And then I was like, man, I would have loved to see like this scene play out of like Prince Robot and Alana and like their interaction. That would have been great because, man, that would have been just comedy gold right there. But it's like you only get this one scene where it's like, "Faster, woman." Yeah, that's great. And then she's like got this fire extinguisher thing fixing the hole in the ship. And then Hazel teleports back. And then yeah, but then like you have Petrichor who's all like, "Oh, I'm about to sneeze, hold up. Let me turn my mute on." Yeah, Petrichor jumps in right there after him, like right after Alana sees Hazel, and she's like, "Hey, wing lady, drop the weapon," even though it's a fire extinguisher, but whatever. And you have some narration from Hazel. It's like, "I'll always think fondly of my years inside detention center LC766B. The women and children I met all had lost people they loved, but they never wallowed in despair. Because death is so predictable," like she said at the beginning. Like my fellow inmates in class me, really what's the difference? Showed me it was more interesting to concentrate on the living because death is so predictable. And then so yeah, you have after Petrichor jumps in, she punches Alana in the face, and then Night Robot's all like, "Whoa. Obviously Marco's in the wrong person." And then Marco jumps back or teleports back, and he's like, "Whoa, don't shoot. We're all on the same side." And then Night Robot's like, "Okay, forgive my language in front of the child, but who the bloody hell?" Or wait a minute. But yeah, what the bloody hell? Wait, what? What the bloody hell we are? Oh yeah, we're not on the same side. What's going on? And then Prince Robot's like talking to, or not Prince Robot, but Marco's all like talking to Petrichor like, "Yeah, so Robot's an ally, and then Alana's my wife." And then Petrichor's like, "Wait, what?" And then she's like, I think I'm gonna be sick." And then Alana's like, "Who's this?" And then she's all like, "You're just lucky. I'd never kill someone who's expecting." And then Lana's like, "Expecting what?" And then Petrichor's like, "I can smell it from here. You're pregnant." It's like, "Oh, bombshell!" Like, what? Oh, I was like, "Oh man, craziness." So, yeah, Hazel's back. The gang's back together, minus Clara, but she wanted to stay behind anyway. And Lexus was like a member of the last revolution anyway, so it's like she deserves to be in prison. So yeah, but yeah, the family's back. Marco, Lana, Hazel. I mean, sure, there's Prince Robot there, but that'll be a fun time because his interaction with Lana alone is like, oh man, I can't wait for them to have more interaction before they go back to the planet. And he's like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here unless he like decides to not stay there for some reason. And then like Petrichor, like, you know, how will Alana and Marco react? Or yeah, will they react at all? Or I'd be like, well, whatever, dude. When they find out about her, yeah, like the narration's all like, yeah, death is so predictable, but life has science experiments and free time and surprise naps, and who knows what comes next. And then Marco's just like, oh, well, so yeah, and that was that for issue 36. I think that, yeah, and then like in the notes at the end, it's like that's the end of book 2. So yeah, 6 volumes, I think. Wait, it says something right here. Do. Chapter 36, Volume 6, Book 2. Yeah. So how many more months? Just says a few months, but I can wait plenty of time. So yeah. There's some sweet cosplay for the yearly cosplay contest, so that was awesome. And yeah, that was Saga 36. End of an arc, beginning of a new one. Because actually they teased some sort of like war thing, something. Let me read it. Let's see, the War for Fang, or Fong, Phang. So it's a major story that they've been building towards ever since the first issue. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was great. I thought it was just great because I was expecting someone to die and nobody died, and after nobody died, I was like, yay! The Will and the Goose didn't have to die; they both got to live. Kind of like the Lighthouse finale, man. It was like, you know, I mean, okay, that everybody didn't walk away from that one, but it's like I thought, you know, one of the other major players was gonna get like, yeah, like ever since that issue where they almost killed Lion Cat, I was like, no, it's like, you know, I never know what's gonna happen because it's like they almost killed Lion Cat that one time and I haven't seen him, so I know where Lion Cat's at. So it's like I don't know what's going on. So it's like, oh wait, maybe Gwendolyn and Sophie. Oh wait, that's right, because Will's like, get out of here, all of you! And he got really mad, and then maybe just let them, you know, borrow Lion Cat for a while. But yeah, that's the cool thing about like when you get to like the end of the arc is like something to look forward to. So it's like, you know, Gwendolyn coming back, Sophie coming back, Will not going crazy and being evil all the time, and then Prince Robot maybe going back to not. Who knows? Like, will he go back to being off the grid? Will he join Marco and Alana? Because that would be a fun time with that interaction all the time. But probably not, because he's like, I hate you too. You're both failures, and you're just waiting to erupt like volcanoes of the mess catastrophe that will surround you. I'm not going to be a part of it. And then, you know, you got Claire in jail, Lexus in jail, or prison, whatever that place was, facility. And then Hazel time jump, so she's like older now, so now she can like interact with her parents and like learn stuff from them, so that's gonna be cool. Yeah, Saga, that was awesome, and that's where we're at right now in the story. And I guess we'll see what this Bong War or whatever is, but I'm enjoying it still, so I will continue to read it. And yeah, that's it for this comic book talk of Saga. Until next time, or until you see or hear from me again, I might pick some other stuff up, because I'm trying to catch up on some other things, but I'm not going to say what they are, because I don't want to let anybody down. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for listening and watching, and until you see or hear from me again, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends or not, that's cool too. And I'm now signing off.